Except I am the Amen Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law. Our deception stoppers, the 4D destroyer. For real? Seriously? My bad, folks. All right, I am not a lawyer. This is not a law firm. I do not advocate that you don't support your human offspring. I simply advocate that you made them in private, then you raise them in private. Okay? Simple. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, okay, uh, the reason why you want to stop accepting mail with zip codes affixed to it that are intended for the obligor and non-custodial pay rent, all right, and remove yourself from the jurisdiction, the federal jurisdiction of Title 4D, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm coming to my brothers in New Jersey. Of course, you know I want revenge on New Jersey. And incidentally, gentlemen, my brothers in New Jersey, I am putting together a Gatling gun for you to file into the court, all right, to prove that the sheriff, the judge, and any other contractor is actually taking bribes, and it's a violation of New Jersey law, and you can prosecute them. More than likely, I've been piecing this information together for quite some time now. It's almost finished. It's going to take me about another week. So next week, what I will do is I will announce that we're probably going to hold a webinar, not this weekend coming, but the following weekend, the first weekend in November. All right, because it's important for you fellas to know what's going on. All right, again, gentlemen, this thing you can do to get child support out of your life is go directly to their shit. Okay, we don't make up stuff here. Okay, I mean, yes, it's to have dictionaries and all this other stuff. All right, do not forget we are an education service. Okay, I am the God of law, which means I can take any law and explain to you what it is, what it's used for, and how to use it and how to avoid it. Okay, that is a gift. That is the gift that I was blessed with. Okay, one of the many. So this is the New Jersey Child Support Hearing Officer Programs Operations Manual. All right, and we're going to go over a couple things. Number one, gentlemen, and my brothers in New Jersey, you can download this. You can get it offline. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, it is published by the New Jersey Judiciary. Number one, this document, this book is going to show. It's going to show that not only are they taking bribes, they're also in violation of what is it? Section 1 of the New Jersey State Constitution, separation of powers. Okay, so let's continue. All right, so this book has been around for years, been around since 2009, approved by the Judicial Council. Okay, so the Judicial Council, everybody who's in this. Okay, now look, notice, just notice this: court staff is required to adhere to its provisions. This manual is binding on all. So in other words, if you use this information against them, they can't come back and say you're wrong, can they? It is binding on them. That is why it's so important. I have this book. I have the hard copy of this book. We have it on file. It's 314 pages. And I can probably tell you what's on every page. Okay. However, so we're going to keep moving. And also, just so you know, fellas, what they like to do is if there's any conflict between the manual and statement of policy, the statement of policy wins. All right, but here's a problem. Policies aren't law. This manual is not law. It is merely an instruction book that tells people how this is basically built off the federal government on how to run this Title 4D franchise. And I'm going to show you. All right. And if you ever really want to get this manual and study it, all right, I'll be more than happy to teach it to you. We're going to go to the table of contents. The first thing I'm going to show you is mission statement. Okay. The mission statement of the judiciary. All right. We are an independent branch of the government. All right. This is the judiciary branch, constitutionally entrusted with the fair and just resolution of disputes in order to preserve the rule of law and to protect the rights and liberties guaranteed by the Constitution of the state and of the United States. No, they're not. All right, so number one, if you're constitutionally entrusted in New Jersey, Article 2 prevails. The government was created to be a benefit, security, and protection of the people. Okay. Now here is the mission of the Child Support Hearing Officer program. The Child Support Hearing Officer program is comprised of judicial decision makers. These are not judges; these are administrative officers. All right, appointed by the New Jersey Supreme Court to hear and fairly and justly resolve family support cases, subject to judicial review and approval in accordance with federal and state law. Now, you hear it says subject to judicial review and approval. Now, let me show you something. we're going to go to the, where's it at? Hold on. We're going to go to the history, the organizational chart of the child support program. Okay. Now, look, the federal government, under Title 4D of the Social Security Act, the child support program is federally funded. That is federal law, is it not? Okay. So it's telling you right here that child support is under federal law. That's the jurisdiction. Okay. Remember that. But we're going to go down here. Look, right here. Here's where you find your first separation of powers violation. The Department of Human Services Division of Family Development, DFD, Office of Child Support Services, in the executive branch is New Jersey's designated for the agency. Well, wait a minute. How's the court get involved with that? How's the executive branch and the judicial branch able to coexist like that? Can't do it. That's a violation of Article 3, Section 1, separation of powers. And I figured you wouldn't want to come up. Come on, you. All right, anyway, let me get back to it. Little glitch. All right, so the objectivity, gentlemen, if you use this manual properly, number one, you can prove right here separation of powers violation under Article 1, Section 3. Let me see if I can just thing come up yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, look. Article 2, Section 2, Article 3, New Jersey State Constitution. Okay. The powers of government shall be divided among three distinct branches: the legislative, executive, and judicial. No person belonging to or constituting one branch shall exercise any of the powers properly belonging to the others, except as expressly provided by law. Somebody show me where that is expressed by law. It's not. Okay. So here you got they're telling you, well, we're running this out of the executive branch. So if they're running it out of the executive branch, then Mr. Judge in the judicial branch, you got a problem now, don't you? Look, so here it is. Look, judiciary, New Jersey. Executive branch, New Jersey. All right. Now, second, what I want to show you. All right, and the reason why, let me see here. Okay, go back. This was a little long. I should have just typed in the page. All right, well, come on here. Man, my system is running slow today. There you go. And I mean, oh, come on. I mean, really slow, too. All right. So here we go. What I want to show you is, all right, we already saw this is the judiciary's mission statement, right? Down here, you got the federal government saying they're running all of this, right? Down here, we prove that it's in the Department of Human Services under the executive branch. So this right here, 102 and 104, clearly violates the Constitution, okay? But the other thing what I want to show you is, what do I want? I want page 30. Let's go to page 30, okay? Are you serious? Come on. Hold on. There we go. All right. Number one, we're going to go over a couple things. I'm going to show you the most important thing for child support. The very first important thing is the application. The family division staff must inform the party of his or her right to file a 4D support services and what those services offer. What is an offer? If the party requests child support services, the family division staff member must ensure completion of the application and proof the 4D fee is paid. All right, so Title 4D is a service. It is sold. Look, what those services offer. They're offering and selling services. And this fee, it used to be $25. They raised it now to a $35 application fee and a $50, a $50 annual user fee. All right, so these services are bought, they're sold, they're offered and sold. All right, they got to pay a fee. Okay, that's $35. Both the application and receipt showing payment must be kept in court file. Now, Give me a second, and we're going to show you this. We're going to go to 103.9. Serving the complaint. And here it is, gentlemen. This is the first form of jurisdiction. Okay? In accordance with due process, a party has a right to notice an opportunity to be heard from in front of a court. Where does that come from? That comes from PORA, section 304. Okay? The due process clause of the Constitution provides procedural safeguards before what? An individual can be deprived of life, liberty, or property. Well, if due process is pertaining to an individual, then you have to construe this as being a man. All right, because if you're not a man, you don't have the due process rights. So, okay, this right here tells you, okay, you can't be deprived of life, liberty, or property. So when the word individual in proper cases means an artificial person. The word individual in the Constitution does not. It means a man. All men are by nature equally free and independent. Okay? So, due process requires that the non-moving party be given notice and opportunity to be heard. Now it switches. Who's the non-moving party in a 4D case? It's the non-custodial parent, isn't it? That's not a human being. It has no constitutional guarantees or protections. It is the property of the Social Security Administration, and it is under federal jurisdiction. All right, and here's your proof. Okay? The summons notice must provide the date and time and the place of hearing, as well as the issue to be addressed. What is the issue to be addressed? Child support. So there it's telling you it's subject matter jurisdiction. What is the issue to be addressed? It's Title 4D. It's a debt. The mail, there it is sent to the address provided by the filing party. All right. The mail is sent to what address? Is there a zip code address? Yes, it is. Now, here's the New Jersey child support application. Okay? And again, I've heard somebody say, "Oh, yeah, she's informing, she's putting your information on the child support application." It doesn't matter, because the only information, the most crucial information on this application are what? The Social Security number and the addresses. Okay? Number one, in order to obtain child support, must be a United States citizen. What is a citizen? A citizen is a corporation. Okay? Corpus juris secundum, subsection 8A3. All right? You don't want to be a citizen, gentlemen. Okay? Now, you'll notice, check this out. Zip code. All right, look. Applicant information. City, state, what? Zip code. Okay? Don't put a zip code on here and see what happens. Let's go down. I got them all highlighted in yellow. Look. Second most important thing, Social Security number or tax ID number. Who pays taxes? Taxpayers. How is a taxpayer identified? Social Security number. Look, see it down here. It says United States citizen, yes or no. All right. United States citizens are what? They're federal employees. Driver's license number. All right. Don't you need a Social Security number, a Social Security card to get a driver's license number? Yes, you do. All right. Look, home address, zip code, all federal revenue district, gentlemen, all federal jurisdiction. Federal jurisdiction right here. Look, applicant or employment information, zip code, federal jurisdiction. Your attorney's information, zip code, federal jurisdiction. Okay? Social Security number, federal employee, United States citizen. Corporation, artificial person. United States citizen, artificial person, federal employee, taxpayer, obligor, non-custodial pay rent, or custodial pay rent. It's going to be either or. Okay? Parent contact information, zip code, federal jurisdiction. Okay? Look, last known mailing address, if different, zip code. Parents' employers information, zip code. Okay? Additional employment, zip code. Parents' financial information. Look, check this out. Look at all these. Okay? I guarantee you, if you have any of these, there is a zip code attached. Or, excuse me, not a zip code, a Social Security number. There has to be. Any type of banking requires a Social Security number. Okay? Very important. Okay? Attorney's address, zip code. Now, here's where it gets fun. Okay? Here's where you can have some fun. All right, and here's the kids. Pay rent, zip code. You're paying rent for government property, federal government property. Zip code, children's information. Not zip code, excuse me. Damn. Social security number, my bad. All right. This is what you're paying. This is what a father pays rent on. This social security number. All right. Look, SSN. These are all the children. All right. This is the offspring. And then look, so if they're asking for a social security number, then that name is coming off the what? Social security card, isn't it? Who belongs to that card? The Social Security Administration. Okay? Let's keep it moving. Now, look, here's some more financial information, zip code or not social security card or number. Okay? But what I want to show you is this. Let's have some fun. Look, credit card expense, annual child care, zip code. Now, here's what I want to have fun with. And this is why I tell you the application can be your most lethal weapon. Okay. Number one, the application proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the non-custodial pay rent / obligor, right, is identified by a social security number of how they get the number. Okay. And that it is under the jurisdiction of a federal revenue district, a federal jurisdiction, and a federal market value within the purview of the District of Columbia. That's exactly what this says. So the unsuspecting woman who files this, right? Now, if you can demand a copy of this application. You can demand a copy of the application and you can take her to court and sue her for perjury if you so chose. Or for them allowing her to commit perjury. It says, I certify that the foregoing statements made by me are true to the best of my knowledge. I am aware that if any of the foregoing statements are willfully false, I am subject to punishment. Gentlemen, once you do your zip code exempt, all right, you do not reside in a federal revenue district. All right. And if you stop using that social, if she did put down the social security number that you're holding, all right, guess what? That's literally not a crime. All right, but guess what? She said that you're the property of the Social Security Administration. So now you got two things. You're not the property of the Social Security Administration. You're not a father. You're not a non-custodial parent. You don't. You're not under federal jurisdiction. You don't accept mail with a zip code on it. That means she committed perjury. All right, but let's keep it moving. I don't want to get sidetracked. Let's see now if I can find it. All right, so once this application is filled out, the family division, okay, they get involved, and what they do is they are the ones who create the complaint. All right, look. All right, serving the complaint. Let's go up here. Let's go here. All right, so once the application is done, okay, this is what the application is done through the family division. Now, let's go up here. Look, the CHO is authorized to obtain social security numbers on the record for the purposes of child support. All right. Gathering demographics, same thing. Parentage status. I want to come up here. Review the complaint, process the complaint. Here it is. The family division staff does not have authority to reject the filing of any party based on the merit, nor any staff advise any party as to whatever they will or will not prevail on in the issue. Whenever possible, the family division staff should interview the filing party to assist the proper collection of information and completion of the complaint. What is the information? Social security number and no zip codes. I guarantee you, all they really need is names, social security number, and zip codes. All right, that's a wrap. The family division staff must also accept all filings made by attorneys and county welfare agencies. So then what happens is we're going to go back down to 309 or 3.9. This is where now the application has come in. On the application, social security number, all right, a name attached to that social security number, and a zip code address, which creates federal jurisdiction. So now they're mailing that, and the unsuspecting reader, the unsuspecting man or woman who gets that gets jacked. Okay? So they mail it with a zip code. Once they mail it with a zip code, all right, we're going to go here. Let's go back to page 2. I don't want that. We'll go back to page 2. All right. We're going to slide down here. We're going to go to the organizational structure of child support. All right. So you got, here it is, Department of Human Services. Now you got judicial committees and family part judge and family division. Let's look at the family part judge. Okay. The family part judge, 1004.6. The judge plays a critical role in the child support program. Wait a minute. Doesn't the Department of Human Services and the executive branch run the child support program? There it is. The judge hears complex child support cases. Does he now? Both dissolution and non-dissolution matters. Most importantly, here it is, right here. The judge, most importantly, the judge has exclusive jurisdiction to enter orders. All right. Where does this jurisdiction come from? Title 4D of the Social Security Act. That is federal jurisdiction. Okay? Check this out. Down here it says, finally, the judge has exclusive jurisdiction to incarcerate, execute, or vacate a bench warrant. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. What is that bench warrant for? Failure to pay child support, contempt of court. You're under a contract. You're under the executive branch. This ain't court. So if they're trying to hold you in contempt of court, that's a violation of separation of powers. The executive branch is not part of the judicial branch. They can't hold you in contempt of court. When a judge is enforcing child support, Title 4D, he's not doing that under the judicial branch. He's doing that under a contract with the executive branch. All you got to do, look, don't take my word for it. Look up the law. Go to Jersey. What is it? See if I can pull it up here. I think I got it up here. If I can get, oh, nope, wrong one. All right, that's the wrong one. Oh, no wonder I'm running slow here. I got 2 of these things up. Nope. Let's try this. Is it there? And behind door number, no, manual. All right, I'm burnt. All right, anyway, what you want to do, gentlemen, is, again, you want to be deep inside, for my brothers in New Jersey, you want to be deep inside the New Jersey Child Support Hearing Officer Programs Manual. It breaks down everything you want to know. Anything about child support is here. There's a glossary of common child support terms attached to it. Okay. But more importantly, what you need to know is their jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction is federal jurisdiction. It says it's clear as day. It is federal jurisdiction. It is not state jurisdiction. So because it's federal jurisdiction, the first thing that they have to do is send you mail. Once they send you that mail, they send mail to an obligor's address. Okay. Once that mail is sent to the obligor's address, right, and you accept it unknowing that you're not the obligor, guess what? You just bound yourself to it when all you had to do was just send it back. All right. And how you know it's the obligor's address that they're sending it to? All you got to do, look up Diligent Efforts Protocol under New Jersey. Okay. And again, I've showed you this. I'm going to show it to you again. All good. And again, I apologize. All right, Administrative Office of the Court, State of New Jersey. Right here and there, they're telling you that they're violating the separation of powers because it clearly states that the executive branch, the Department of Human Services, Health and Human Services, and the executive branch oversees child support. Court has nothing to do with that. So here's more evidence. Okay. And Diligent Efforts Protocol, here it is. The judiciary's long-time use of certified mail for notice of service of process for child support enforcement proceedings is costly and not always effective. Individuals obligated to pay child support sometimes seek to evade that obligation by asserting defect in notice and service or avoiding notice of service altogether. All right, well, check this out. Who's the individual obligated to pay child support? The obligator. Obligator. The obligor. Okay. An obligor is the property of the Social Security Administration by virtue of it is properly identified by a Social Security card name and account number, and it is under federal jurisdiction in a federal revenue district with a federal market value because it accepts mails with zip codes on it. All right. Personal Responsibility Act, federal law, establishes a legal presumption in the Child Support Enforcement Action, Title 4D, that service, what, mail, has been effected when a notice is, what, mailed and shown that diligent efforts were made to identify the address of the party served. Who was the party that is intended for that service? The obligor, who has a zip-coded address, who is under federal territory, federal jurisdiction. If diligent efforts are made to confirm the obligor's address, then the courts may presume that notice mailed to that address was actually served on the obligor. Where do you think the judge gets his jurisdiction? All right, this is all federal, gentlemen. Stop accepting mail with zip codes on it. All right, and here's one more. All right, and this is where this is what the family division does. Under this protocol, diligent efforts requirements are satisfied when the obligor's address is searched. Address. All right, zip code. If you exempt yourself and stop using that zip code, and guess what? And you send them the document, the proper documentation that lets them know, whoa, check this out. Here's your mail back. I'm not accepting mail with zip codes on it, and this is the facts in support of my claim. And they can't come back and say that you're wrong. Okay, for those of you who missed that class, I'm telling you, you've really missed out. When an obligor does not appear for a hearing and a judge or child support hearing officer is presented with certification and probation represents that the notice sent by regular mail has not been returned, then the hearing should proceed as effective service on the obligor is presumed at that point. When you send that mail back, guess what? They did not get effective service on the obligor. All right, they lose jurisdiction. Okay, and as long as you do a zip code exempt, they lose their jurisdiction. It's because if you do a zip code exempt properly, after that, you're not going to be accepting any of their mail intended for the obligor with a zip code on it. And if they send it with a zip code exempt without the zip code, they openly admit they just lost their federal. They don't have federal jurisdiction because there's no obligor under federal jurisdiction, federal market value, or a federal revenue district. Okay. It all starts with the mail. Stop accepting mail. If you have a child support issue, all right, we will be more than happy to educate you. Like, damn, if you haven't been educated already. But for my brothers in New Jersey, if you want to master the deadly techniques, and check this out. This shit's put out by, look, this ain't my shit. Look, Chief Justice Stuart Rabner, little weasel-looking motherfucker. He look like a little rat. All he's missing is his whiskers. Little beady-eyed fucker. Okay? This is certified, gentlemen. This came from what? The Administrative Judge's Trial Court. What's that boy's name? Glenn Grant? Glenn, I know you're going to watch this video. I'm putting you out there, boy. All right, this is from Glenn Grant. So, that being said, you're going to take this, you're going to use it against them. All right? All you got to do, and look, gentlemen, this is a David and Goliath strategy, okay? If you remember the story of David and Goliath, I'm not going to sit here and try to quote you any scriptures, but if you remember the story of David and Goliath, you'll remember that David was a small boy. I mean, I don't know how small he was, and they say that Goliath was a giant man. All right, accordingly, I've chased it around anywhere from 9 to 13 feet tall, which is fine because if you've done your history, they had giants back then. All right, but here's the problem. All right, everybody in the army was scared. I think it was at King Saul. All right, everybody was scared. This big ass motherfucker out there, and look, they wasn't going to war. They said, look, and this is what I liked about it though. They said, yo, we'll send our champ out. You send your champ out. Winner takes all. That's all they did. They couldn't even find a men amongst them. So here you got this boy, David, right, anointed by the Creator, which is cool, right? And they tried to give him all this armor, and they gave him all these weapons. And David was he sheep, right? He's a sheeper, is what he did. Okay, but he knew how to protect himself. So what he did was he took off all that heavy armor because he couldn't carry it. He couldn't lift them weapons. All right, and what he did was he just picked up 5 smooth stones, and the first one, I believe, he threw, landed and lodged itself in Goliath's forehead and killed him right there on the spot. So number one, he used what he was used to. He didn't have to go out there and sling no sword. He didn't look, man. He barely bust a grape in order to kill that giant. And here it is, the little boy. Again, I don't know. Don't get me wrong to say little boy. He might have been a teenager, but he was still a boy. Okay, so he took his weapon of choice and he mastered his weapon, which was the sling. Now look at the story. Not only He did two things, all right? He did two things, and that's why you have to master your technique. First thing he did was he threw it, right? The second, all right, he threw it with such velocity that it went through a giant's skull and killed him. The second thing was he hit him with the first shot, okay? The very first shot. He picked up 5 rocks. He only used 1. You get it, fellas? And he didn't get a scratch on him. So the objectivity is do it like David did it. All right. You don't have to go in and look, you're going to go to court eventually, but what you're going to do is learn how to get them, default them, do them the same way that they would do you. Default them. Because remember, when you write an affidavit, that affidavit is your law. Okay. They have to respond to it when you get it notarized and you send it by certified mail. They have to respond to it. If they don't respond to it, then you give them 20 days. On the 21st day, you're going to go and you're going to file for a default judgment against you. And guess what? No judge can refuse it because you got evidence that you sent them. You got 20 days to respond to the proper name and the proper address. If you fail to respond, all right, you take full responsibility that I'm going to default you and you got to start paying the bill or whatever it is. All right, whatever you want to default them for. But in this case, you want to default the 4D agency that's operating in the state, all right, by requiring a judge to make Social Security Administration. Who gives a shit? Okay, who's paying the bill? As long as somebody's paying. So what that means is once you remove yourself from federal jurisdiction, that fight becomes between the Social Security Administration and the Child Support Agency. You're out of it. You're out of it after that. If you do it properly. If you do not do it properly, all right, then you're going to be screwed. Stop accepting mail with zip codes. Stop consenting to be the obligor. Okay? Stop consenting, period. Fucking difficulties here like crazy. This is all right. So, gentlemen, you know where to find me. Hit me at 4D Destroyer, 4D_destroyer at yahoo.com. And we will teach you how to get a default. And as far as New Jersey is concerned, brothers and sisters, I will show you how to get out of your hair. I personally guarantee that. I'm going to more likely not this weekend, but next weekend, the following weekend, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and hold that webinar. All right, and I got a Gatling gun for my brothers in New Jersey. I promise you. I'm the Amin Osiris, and again, I am having technical difficulties with this program right now. This is crazy. Hold on. All right, and